Okay, Mother Goose here, and this is the start of my reviews I'm gonna start doing on this channel. This one is showing off Clayfighter Sculptor's Cut, the rarest Nintendo 64 game apparently. Now, because it's so rare, of course, this one isn't a official original release. This is what's called a reproduction. I only paid so much for it because, well, how can I put this? Unlike most people, I'm not totally out of my dang mind. Anywho, this game has been going off on eBay like for insane amounts of prices. Like, oh my god, like you don't even want to go there. I mean, people. Oh, I can't. This is going to be turning into a rant a bit, but I can't understand how some people could be so ignorant that they would actually pay so much money for video games, especially old video games. Like, man, like they would sell their freaking house mortgages and maybe a kidney or two. I don't know. It's pretty nuts. But yeah, unlike most people, I'm perfectly in a good state of mind where I know what to buy with my money and what not to buy with my money. Now this is a game I've been wanting for, well, since the early 90s, because that's when the Nintendo 64 was popular and these games were popular, and they were new at the time. But of course, I never was able to afford such a thing at the time because at the time, reproduction cartridges did not exist. Well, anyway, so this is a rare game because it was a Blockbuster exclusive, and this means that you could only rent it at Blockbuster Video. It was only available to rent there. You couldn't buy it. The company Interplay that made the game, they didn't sell this version to people. They sold a different version. The other version is Clayfighter 63 and a third, which I'll make a review of later on. But it's basically the same game, but Sculptor's Cut, there's a huge difference between the two. Sculptor's Cut has more characters, 4 more characters in fact. What they did though was they changed who was a hidden character that you had to put a code in to play as and who wasn't a hidden character. Well, Sculptor's Cut has 4 hidden characters you have to use cheat codes to unlock, while 63 and a third only has 3. But no biggie, you know, it's cool because I have both versions anyway, so I can enjoy them in different ways. Another big difference is Sculptor's Cut plays more like Street Fighter Alpha because it has the super moves, but no kill instinct like combos like 63 and a third has. So yeah, this is basically Street Fighter Alpha with Clay Fighters. And 63 and a third is basically kill instinct. They both have Mortal Kombat finishers though, so that's a cool thing they put in the game that wasn't in the original SNES versions. Actually, they planned on doing it since Clayfighter 2 Judgment Clay for Super Nintendo, but they canceled that, I guess because of time when they were making the game or whatever. And then they also, a character in both of these N64 game versions of Clayfighter has a character called Dr. Clan. And Dr. Clan was supposed to first appear in Clayfighter 2 Judgment Clay, but he was a canceled character, just like the Gorilla character was. I forget her name at the moment, but anyway, yeah, there was supposed to be a Gorilla character in that game. Speaking of characters they took out, both versions on Nintendo 64 is missing a character named Hobocop. Hobocop was this homeless drunk guy who he was, well, I don't know why, but Nintendo really hated him to the point where Nintendo forced Interplay to take him out of both Nintendo 64 games exclusively because they didn't like him. Which is kind of ironic when you think about it, because both versions of Clayfighter on Nintendo 64 still have two characters that are super, super racist. I could tell you the names of them. The first one, who's probably the most obvious, is Kung Pao, who's a Chinese stereotype sushi chef. And yeah, he's like super, super racist. So I'm not even gonna go there with kind of stuff he bloods out of his mouth in the game. And then the other one is Hogan, who is like a I'll say he's a Jamaican voodoo witch doctor character. Yeah, yeah, that speaks for itself. Anyway, yeah, so but anyway, so this is the Wearer game, and I'm happy to have it in my collection. Okay, my time's almost out, so I'm gonna let go. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed the review. Take care.